Let's talk about the Josh Naylor trade. This segment's brought to us by FanDuel. You can tackle the NFL action with FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook. Right now, new customers can bet $5, get $250 in bonus bets if that first $5 bet wins. The FanDuel Sportsbook app gives you everything you need to place live bets on the NFL all in one place. You can also bet on Major League Baseball, the NBA, NHL. If you want to bet on something, FanDuel has odds for you. When you get a hunch in the middle of the game, you can check out the latest stats, view live play-by-play, and so much more on the same page where you place your bets. Just visit FanDuel.com/UCSS to join today. Never waste a hunch. Make every moment more with FanDuel, an official sportsbook partner of the NFL.
So the Guardians making 2 transactions over the weekend, and obviously they're related. First, they trade Josh Naylor to the Arizona Diamondbacks for a pitcher by the name of Slade Ciccone. Didn't they get a second player in that deal?
No, they got a comp pick.
Oh, a comp pick, right. So, and then they signed Carlos Santana, brought our old buddy back. You know, Jason, I know you're pissed, and I get it. Baseball trades are very different than the other sports. In football and basketball, trades are way more straightforward. It's obvious what a team is trying to do in football and basketball when they make a trade. In baseball, it's way more nuanced. And to the point where when I was tweeting about what the Guardians did, was it Saturday? Saturday night, right?
Yeah.
That I had the diehard baseball nerds getting mad at me.
Yeah.
And the casual fans who don't see the nuance getting mad at me. Both sides were angry based on what I was tweeting. Because it is nuanced. There are parts of everything the Guardians have done this offseason that I get, and there are parts of it that piss me off.
Yeah.
Because when you're making a baseball trade, especially a team like the Guardians, you're thinking about, like, okay, does this trade help me now? No. Like, nothing the Guardians have done this offseason has been to the benefit of the 25 season. And that pisses me off. Could the trades they've made make them better in 26, 27, 28? Sure. But it's not a guarantee. There's certainly a lot of potential upside there. Slade Ciccone was a first-round pick. He's a talented player. So far in the majors, not that big a sample size, he's been crap.
Yeah.
He's been terrible. And this is over 2 seasons. Oh, this was just last year, but he pitched a little in 23 in the majors and wasn't very good either. So it's complicated. But all I know is that when I look at this team at the end of last year, a team that was in the American League Championship Series, I say, okay, is their offense better right now than it was at the end of last year? No.
No.
It's not better. Is their defense better?
No.
No. Is their starting pitching better?
Yeah.
I don't agree with that, but go ahead, make your case.
Well, they were out. They needed to re-sign starters. I think, I forgot his name from the Pirates.
Luis Ortiz.
Yeah.
I would rather have Ortiz than Matthew Boyd and Alex Cobb. And Shane Bieber healthy in the second half.
Okay, but those are, first of all, and I like Luis Ortiz. I think he's got good potential. But Matthew Boyd pitched great for them last year.
Yeah, he did. But how sustainable is that?
Okay, but we don't like Luis Ortiz is far from a sure thing.
Of course he is.
He's got potential.
Yeah.
And we don't know what Bieber's.
I mean, Boyd was great for 2 months. He was lousy his entire career until those 2 months.
Yes, he was. That's
very,
fair.
very average.
That's fair. Bullpen, they're slightly worse. Not significantly. You traded Sandlin, you traded Morgan, you added nobody.
I don't think that matters. Sandlin and Morgan were not their high leverage guys.
Okay, but you know what? In bullpens, which are the most volatile of all, when guys are up and down, like Eli Morgan's been a pretty solid reliever for them. I'm not saying the difference in the bullpen is going to matter. I'm just saying they're not better.
Agree.
And so, you want to argue that the starting rotation's better?
I don't think it's worse. I certainly don't think it's worse.
Okay.
But I'm with you on lineup and defense.
We could settle for it's the same.
Yeah.
It's equal. But the thing you needed to improve the most, the lineup, is worse.
Yeah.
And that's the frustration.
Absolutely.
And that's why fans like G, who are not in the minutia like 5% of us, are pissed.
Yeah.
It's like I'm trying to just explain it from like fans just trying to get into the Guardians. Like you trying to get people.
They make it very hard.
Yes.
And it's like
yes.
You go a couple plays. Like you played the Yankees tough. The Yankees had to play their ass off. They hit some crazy home runs. Listen, we threw our best. We threw our best at them. And it's like, cool. Like, we was young. We got a first-year manager. Great. And then you're like, you win a couple of games from the World Series. And then you come back and it's like, oh, yeah, shout out to, our platinum glove second baseman. Yeah, we're going to trade him. You're like, I know he ain't been hitting at the plate, but wow, like, okay, like, who we get for him? Well, it's a guy who we think got some potential. For a person that is not in the minutiae, you like potential, I'm seeing it. It's hard for me to trade somebody for somebody's potential when we've already seen and that has been developed. Then we talked about, like, hey, Boyd. We like, okay, the Guardians do a good job of finding the Boyds of the world. They liked him so much that they took Lively out of there. They're like, we're going to start this guy. And he pitched his tail off. Nope, he's gone. We're not signing him. Then you get to Naylor. I know Naylor, we make jokes, but we joke about that 100-plus RBIs and 31, that power. Mm-hmm. We talked about we needed something with Naylor. We needed something with Ramirez. And then, we got Lane Thomas, right? And so we like, okay, we're building on something. So then you take him out, and you're like, okay, well,
Lane Thomas has not been traded. He's still here right now.
He's still
may
down.
be traded, yeah.
But you see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So now I'm looking around like, okay, so we don't have now we deficient in the sticks because that's why we can't beat the Yankees and big slugging teams like that. And now you're gonna say, well, what did we get for him? A guy that was a former first-round pick that ain't been playing well, and then like some cash and considerations or something. It's like, nah, like. When are you going, like, to me, Tito ain't never going to come out and say it, but Tito is like, I told you. Tito is like, look, like, when you have an opportunity to go for it, you got a great young team, instead of adding to it, you bank it on, I could go get rid of it and then bring some people in that can make me just as good as what I just let go.
What's funny is Tito went to another team that also doesn't spend. But.
Well, as this team is constructed from ownership down, they are never going to go all in. It's not their style. They're always going to do this, and they're always going to be here, and they're going to give themselves a chance to go here. But they're never just going to push all in and go in for 1 year.
And that's frustrating.
Hard, and as a fan, that's
frustrating because and there's a weird small percentage of the fan base that is obsessed with the Guardians, like getting the best, like being the best team per dollar. And who gives a crap about that?
Can I ask? Wait, I have a question for you because this has come up a ton on Twitter, and I saw you arguing with some people online about it. So I want to make sure we address it here.
Yeah.
The Guardians objectively have done a very good job getting the most out of their pitching talent.
Absolutely.
Do they deserve the benefit of the doubt in all these cases?
Yes, they do.
Okay.
They do.
Here's why. Based on that, you should never be able to criticize anything they do.
No. You can be frustrated with the way that the organization is set up, that they continually have to operate this way. You can be upset about that. But I'll go back to the Kluber trade because I'm such a psychotic fantasy baseball. Like, I actually had Emmanuel Clase on my fantasy team when they traded for him. I'm like, oh my God, I love Clase. Yeah. He throws a 101-mile-an-hour cutter. The only other one who did that is Rivera. And I wrote that, and people killed me. They're like, how can you compare this guy to Mariano Rivera? You're a clown. I'm like, okay, I'm just telling you. And nobody knew who Emmanuel Clase was when they traded Kluber. Like, oh my God, I can't believe they traded a multiple Cy Young winner for this reliever. And look what happened. Yeah. So, yes, they earned the benefit of the doubt on all of these. I don't love Slade Ciccone, but he throws 100 miles an hour and he doesn't walk anybody. There's a lot the Guardians can do with that. A lot. But I'm not sitting here saying saying I love it. I don't. But
Yes, they have earned a level of I don't dislike their moves as much if the Browns management were making the same moves, I'd be losing my mind.
Of course, yes.
Because I wouldn't trust them. So, yes, there is a level of trust and respect that I give to Antonelli and Chernoff that I don't give to the Browns. Or a better example would be like another, what's that?
They haven't earned it, the Browns.
Right. Or another team in baseball that doesn't. But this idea that they turn every pitcher into a good pitcher, that's nonsense.
Of course
not everybody's going to get turned into a good pitcher.
But their track record is better than most.
Their track record is good. But just think about if you had a reasonable payroll, with the front office you have.
And that's what you can be.
And
That's what I'm
that's the
saying.
frustrating
That's
thing.
where it's okay to be frustrated that they have to operate this
Antonelli
way.
and Chernoff say all the right things. You don't think they'd want to hire payroll?
Of course they do.
Yeah, no, I know you saying that, but for the people that defend the constant shedding of money.
But you know what they do appreciate, what they do love? The security that they're not going to get fired tomorrow because they're really good at what they do and they have the autonomy to operate as such. Like Chernoff could have gone to the Mets, his hometown team a few years ago.
Yeah.
And he said, I'm good. I like it here because ownership gives them the autonomy to operate as they see fit.
Well, you know, I just it's a little bit sad because, you know, this has an opportunity to be a great baseball town. They've shown you before that people will get behind you and a good product. And you guys and they've told the fans to come on out, support the product. We're the only team that consistently is competitive. But it's hard as a fan for you to sell somebody the names don't matter in the back of the jersey.
That's right. That is hard.
And
it's almost like they got to start over every year building that trust again.
So now I go to the games, and now I got to build up another whole year where I'm like, whoa. And the thing, some people are going to be upset because you signed Carlos Santana for $12 million. Like,
yeah.
He's been here 3 times.
I don't mind that move. Once you've moved Naylor, I got no problem with the Santana move for 1 year.
But it's almost like I would rather keep Naylor, who's a better hitter, has better numbers, who's younger. I would rather keep him and lose him for nothing than to sign Santana for $12 million to walk.
I agree, but their argument would be, well, we're better off having Santana over Naylor for 1 year, even though he's not as good offensively, he's better defensively, because we also get this draft pick, and we also get Slade Ciccone. That's the way they're looking at it.
Right.
And in the long term, that might make sense. And the gap offensively between Naylor and Santana is not huge.
Not right now, but Santana's 39.
He is, but Santana could completely go off the cliff this year. Now, he won a Gold Glove last year.
And in fairness, so could Josh.
So he could. By the way, I know a lot of people were arguing with me, Santana's going to play first base every day. We can't have Santana play first base. I know he was great last year. He's 39 years old. And Kyle Manzardo's got to play first base. So they've got to. I'm okay with them splitting it, but
I would rather have Manzardo at first.
Well, Manzardo's going to play every day. He just might not be at first base.
I would rather have Manzardo at first base and Naylor to DH over.
That wasn't going to happen.
Why?
Because of
Naylor's
attitude.
Yeah.
Because if Naylor's on the team, he wants to play first.
Man,
that's part of that goes in.
Yeah,
it's part of what goes into it.
And here's the truth going right now. 2 things. Number one, it's very funny in this town. The Browns win almost every offseason and lose almost every season.
Yep.
The Guardians lose almost every offseason and win almost every season.
Which would you rather have?
I'd rather have the Guardians. But it doesn't mean that there isn't some frustration because they ultimately, as competitive as they've been, as a good organization as they are, if you talk to baseball people, they think highly of the Guardians. If you talk to football people, they think the Browns are a joke. There's no doubt. So all of those of you who say, well, the Guardians owner stinks because he doesn't spend, that part of him sucks. It's frustrating. I hate it. We all hate it. If you ask baseball people, what do you think about the Guardians organization? They'll tell you good things. So for those who say, Jimmy Haslam is better owner, blah, blah, blah.
Oh, that's
Jimmy
insane.
Haslam is not respected. He's a clown.
From a fan's perspective.
Yeah, but they only see the money
From
part.
a fan's perspective, if I got 3 kids and I got 1 kid that doesn't study at all and gets an F, right?
Yeah.
But if he studied, he could get an A. But he didn't do anything. That's the Browns. I got another kid that's really smart. If he studied and studied the way he was supposed to, he can get an A too. But he studies just enough and gets a C. Which is worse?
I would say he gets a B, but because he gets to the playoffs consistently, he just can't win it when he's
But he could be a Rhodes Scholar if he just put the effort in.
It's so funny. Yeah.
I would say, guys, we all aren't created equally, but I always look at it like this. Yes, the Guardians do a better job of masking the fact that they're not trying to win. The Browns are just inept at doing it.
I don't think it's that they're not trying to win. They're not willing. Ownership is not willing to go all in to win. Obviously, the front office is trying to do everything they can to win.
It's an ownership type thing. So it's like, I get it. I understand that you can't do certain things, but it's hard for me to swallow the fact that there are some things that you probably can do. Is it uncomfortable for you? Sure it is. Yeah. I told Bull, I said, now look. They got smart PR people too. You know what they top priority is going to be? Hey, don't you forget we got Bieber coming back. That's our trade deadline move. Yeah. And by the way, McKenzie, we figured that out. No surgery needed.
Yeah,
he's back in that rotation.
Listen, it's unfortunately what they got to do. The Guardians will still probably be good this year. It is frustrating. I get why the fans are frustrated they don't spend enough money. But yes, like getting back to the original point before, and we got Tom Hamilton ready to go. Ultimately, they do put out a competitive product every year, and they do deserve a level of trust when they make trades, even if they don't always get it right.